Hey everybody!
Hello,
What's
hello.
up? Episode 18 cast.
Yeah,
And
man. I can't believe Animacast has been going for this long.
Damn!
That's the one,
You
right?
beat the world record.
The world record!
record.
No podcast has ever made it past 17 episodes. We're the first.
No, never. Not one.
So where are we today? It's nice in here. I feel cozy.
Yeah, we're in. So you guys are actually in my house. If you don't remember, I invited you
Oh,
here.
yeah.
That's right,
but,
dude. You're doxxed. That's all right. At least
Yeah, no,
that
You
works.
showed us a picture of your living room. And we're like, hey, go there. Let's go there.
Let's
Yeah.
go there. Yeah.
So
And
I do want to
here
point out
we
that
are.
we had to take our shoes off in here, but Hyun gets to put his whole ass body on the
Yeah.
Hey man, if
I did
fit,
just
I
wax
sit.
that, so just be careful.
Oh, is it slippery? Uh-oh.
It could be a little slippery, but like you should
Okay,
be
well, I
fine if you
mean-
just don't move.
Nah, fine.
He's chilling, dude.
There's no
But
way.
yeah, he's
This
still
thing's
wearing
dirty.
his little
This thing's dirty.
his winter getup because I do live in Colorado, and it has been snowing for a while lately. We've already gotten to that winter weather. Stone has already got that luscious face of fur to keep him.
I do. I'm good. I'm
keeping him
cozy.
and I'm used to the cold here, so I don't need
Right.
anything.
Right.
But
You don't have the
I'm
heater
buttoned
on. The only thing you think that was going to heat this room was that light in the corner, and it doesn't emit any
Oh,
heat
it's
whatsoever.
LED. Yeah, it doesn't emit any.
Yeah.
Heat.
So it's not helping the situation at all. Also, I noticed above us is where we had our ritual, or no, not ritual, but where Hyun was.
Oh, yeah, it's where Hyun
taking
was
that
sleepy.
long rest. Yeah,
He
that's
was
he's sleeping right
Yeah,
there.
I
We
don't
took
know
a photo
where
of it.
that picture came from, to be honest. That's
It
been
came
here
from
since
that-
I moved into this place. like
Oh my
like 3
God.
years ago.
It came with the house. They built the house around that photo.
They hung up the picture first, and then built the house. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, this place is nice though. I like this.
I like
this
it.
house.
What's in those?
Very,
What's in the
very nice
dresser?
house.
What's in the dresser over there?
Nothing.
Video games? Nothing.
Actually, nothing right now.
Let's go.
I'm not trying to hide
dude.
anything. We used to live with my sister here, and my sister was kind of the lead rent owner. But she has since moved out, and now I am the lead. So
There you go.
we've been kind of reorganizing the place to however we like. We're gonna probably paint
nice.
that dresser black or something, but we don't know what we're gonna put in it yet. Any recommendations?
Meat logs.
It's not a fridge.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's
I
cold
could
here.
probably
Doesn't
put, I
matter.
could probably put some like cooling packs in there.
Yeah, put me in there.
Charge him $100, $100 a month for rent,
Get,
and just
get
give
a,
him
get a
what-
log of
two
meat
drawers.
to Jesus. Alright.
He's just cozying his meat log in there, dude.
Yeah, but so while we're still in this transition period of switching technical homeowners, I've been like deep cleaning everything for the last like 3 to 4 weeks, and the other day I pulled out my dryer to clean out the dryer vent because you're supposed to do that somewhat regularly, and it turns out the people who installed my new dryer didn't even install the vent. So all of that dust and dead skin and everything was just pooling back into the laundry room. And whenever we would turn it on, it would heat it all up. A bunch would get blown all around the place.
Ew.
You're just pumping all the lint into the entire laundry
Yeah.
room.
When I pulled it back, you couldn't see the tile that was supposed to be there. I had to scrape off all of that like lint and shit.
Oh
Lint
my
dust.
god, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was not
Yeah.
fun. But
That's a really
That's
bad fire
flammable,
hazard,
isn't
too. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
super
yeah,
flammable.
you
It's
know,
like
fire hazard.
giga
and we've ran
flammable.
that thing so many times, so we've had a high risk of burning our house down for a while. and
Oh
we didn't
my.
even know.
Good.
But we got it fixed today. I had my
Nice.
brother-in-law come down. He's great.
Very nice.
He helped fix it, so we're good.
Yeah, you don't.
And
You
he
weren't
actually
coin
installed
flipping-
the vent this time. I checked.
You weren't coin flipping, burning the house down every time you wanted a
Yeah.
dry T-shirt.
Exactly.
That's
yeah.
crazy, dude.
Well-
Ken, is there any
Hatena's-
announcements this week?
No announcements, but today's guest is actually Hatena.
Wow.
Hey,
You tell me to come into
Whoa.
my place and have me talk
Yeah.
about my life?
That's actually
Exactly.
pretty
That's so
convenient. Yeah, that's
silly.
nice.
Where's your
All right.
fridge?
Where's your fridge?
It's actually just in
much
that
is rent?
room, like the room that you can see just like over the corner there.
Yeah, the
It's
corner
just
there.
back there. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna read that later. Yeah,
Yeah, we're
for
gonna
sure.
read it later.
It's not a lot right now. I have to go to the store, so I mean, good luck finding anything.
Hey, don't worry. Hey, we'll clear
Yeah,
it out. We'll clear it
We
out
can
for you.
function on surprisingly little.
You better lick the glass clean then.
All right. So, yeah, Hatena, welcome to our podcast.
Oh,
the
hey, it's so
Info
nice to be
podcast.
here.
Hey, good to have you, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Are you a long-time watcher or is this
We're
your first
here to talk
episode?
about. Hello.
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 Yes, Hyun.
No, go ahead.
You good? If maybe you take the hoodie off a bit, you might be able to hear us
It's
better.
cooking them, dude. It's cooking them.
I'm sweating.
You don't have to have it on, man. Like
You got to
I
be
have
so
AC.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Leave me alone. Leave me
Okay,
alone.
okay, damn.
Whoa,
fine.
yo!
All right. So, no Dojo announcements today, so I think we should just get into Hatena's unbelievable journey. That's the title that we came up with because
Damn!
it truly is unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't even know how unbelievable or believable it is.
I
I believe it.
You
can't
believe
believe it.
it's
I can't believe it.
unbelievable.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh man, this intro is scuffed. All right, Hatena.
It's wonderful. Just keep going.
So Hatena.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Let's just get started with the usual questions that we usually start with. Is let's just go all the way to the beginning, like the rest of us, because I wasn't really aware of your upbringing or your existence
yes.
per se. Late. Was it? It's like late Dojo era, right? It wasn't even Fluid Atoms, right?
Yeah, no, I never touched stick figure content until I discovered the Dojo. But long before
Yeah,
I even got into
yeah.
stick figures, I got my start on, believe it or not, Flipnote Hatena, hence the name Hatena.
Oh man.
But yeah, so go ahead.
Oh, so you didn't create Flipnote Hatena?
No, I didn't.
That
I
wasn't you?
was 10 years old.
You made it when you were
Oh,
10?
yeah.
Yo!
Yes, that's exactly what I meant. No, so Flipnote Hatena it was an online sharing service for digital flipbook animations for the software Flipnote Studio, created by Nintendo. So it was a Nintendo service that they collaborated with this other company called Hatena. So they have their own blog service. They have a whole bunch of other stuff. They're kind of like Facebook in Japan, as far as I understand. It might have changed. It's been a while since I've actually looked into them. But they decided to collaborate with Hatena. Not with Hatena. Hatena decided to collaborate with Nintendo on the Flipnote project to make it
Not you, but
social media.
Hatena.
Yeah, no, Flipnote Hatena. It's very confusing,
Flipnote
especially
Hatena.
when people
Okay.
talk about the death of Flipnote Hatena. That it gets real awkward. There's a confusion. But anyway, yeah. So I got my start on Flipnote Hatena in 2011. Well, I didn't even have an account in 2011. I just discovered Flipnote and I watched Flipnotes on Hatena for about a year, and I begged my parents to let me have an account so I could share stuff online. And my parents were very skeptical about it at the time. It's completely fair. But I can pull up some of my wonderful animations.
You should do that.
See, this is June 14th,
Bring it up, Hatena.
2012.
Look it
I
up.
believe this is the day that I
Oh
got
my
an account.
God.
And
Oh my.
I was 10 years old. No, I was 11 years old at this point.
Okay, the thumbnail's got me hooked, though. I gotta be honest. I'm ready.
Give me the hot dog.
Yeah, where's that dining?
I
give
believe
me the hot
I
dog.
recorded this audio in
Give me the
a
hot
Panda
dog.
Express.
That was
hot dog.
I love Panda.
Me.
So this whole video is just a dog begging for a hot dog. Look at those long ass legs.
So
dude.
you were saying you're just sitting there at the table in Panda Express. You're like,
Yeah.
give me the hot dog.
Yeah, I was.
Give me the hot dog. Everyone's just looking at you like, what's that? Give me the hot dog.
Yeah. No, it gets better because then.
Oh!
Yeah, then this shit happens.
Give me. I'll take
What
it.
the?
Ah!
It's mine.
It's miserable. It's so
is that?
miserable. That's me. That was
Was
me.
that you?
That was
That was
me.
you talking?
Yeah.
What the heck?
God, it
Oh
has been
my
years since I've
gosh.
seen that video.
Hot
But
dog,
yeah,
please.
this is one of my favorite pictures from this era I've ever made. It's got such an energy.
Let's
Sonic.
go.
Oh man.
Oh, man.
my gosh.
Fun little thing. Okay, so this is actually no. Go ahead.
So this is all made on the Nintendo DS, right?
Yeah, the
Or
DSi.
like-
It was the sequel to the
DSi.
Nintendo DS. They had two camera. Yeah, I think the big thing about the DSi was it had two cameras, one on the front, one on the back. And in Flipnote, you could actually take pictures and import them into Flipnote Studio. And there's some Flipnote animators that could do incredible stuff with that. I didn't. I never got that good.
Yeah.
But you could do that. But they decided to make Flipnote Studio a DSi specific thing. So there's no other way that you could do it.
Got it. That's crazy. So I think that's like a huge innovation actually when it comes to animation programs back then, right?
Oh yeah, because I mean that opened it up to a much more casual market than most animators had. So this one was actually a joint between me and an old friend.
That's so cute.
It's awful. I mean, this one is awesome. This is such a great battle. It's fantastic quality.
Yes, dude.
But I love Flipnote Hatena so much because it allowed me to communicate with a bunch of people with like-minded interests, which I had never been exposed to that before.
Right.
So I don't know. It was really fun. I didn't have a PC at this time, so I wasn't able to get into things like Fluid Anims or Stickpage, where a lot of members in this community come from, to my understanding. So I just had a DSi, and that was it. So this was my only route to this community, I suppose. But
yeah, I was gonna say oh, sorry. I was gonna say I think that's one of the reasons why Hatena got so popular. Not only just the animation program, but the community aspect that came with it, right?
yeah, it very much felt like just a group of kid creators hanging out and making cool animations and art with kid creators. One of my favorite things that Flipnote Hatena did that was very unique was it allowed you to make comments, which isn't anything new. But let me go to Pseudo Memo, because they still do this. But they allowed you to draw your comments. And originally that was really the only way that you could comment. Let me find a good example. Yeah, so I pulled up a random Flipnote on
so
Pseudo
interesting.
Memo, which is the successor to Flipnote Hatena, because Flipnote Hatena got shut down and got recreated by a kid named Austin Burke. So this is like the modern day Flipnote Hatena, but you can see like you could draw some of your comments. Some people type them, of course, but yeah,
That's crazy.
It's
Yeah.
incredible.
What? One guy.
Oh, incredible.
I wonder how they moderated that kind of stuff because
It was just gonna load his
anything that,
image capture.jpg or whatever. You know what I mean?
Well,
probably
surprisingly
didn't.
enough, I don't think people really abused it that much. You'd think it'd be so
Really?
easy to just like draw a
Maybe
dick
it's just not big enough.
and then
Yeah.
comment it.
I mean, it's like
But
the
like
worst
that
thing.
never, like I can't recall that ever actually happening. But I don't think it's as different from like just anyone commenting something vulgar. I don't really think it's that different because even on Pseudo Memo, it's very rare that you come across any drawing comments like that. But it was very unique.
like
Yeah, go ahead.
did you so like what were kind of your highlight moments during that time in the community? Because I'm sure you met like a lot and probably worked on a few community stuff, right? Or was it just like you're mostly lurking?
I did try to. Oh God! So I role played with some people. God,
Sorry.
no, you can laugh. It's ridiculous. Unfortunately, you can still find them. I wish you couldn't. Keep in mind, I was 11 to 12 in those years.
Digital footprint.
But yeah, I mean, this was kind of an era where I was able to actually make good friends. Because in school, I was not the most well-liked kid. I was very much so the outcast.
Same.
So I don't know if that was just... Flipnote Hatena felt like the first place where I belonged somewhere. So it just kind of felt like home.
Yeah.
I remember the pulling all-nighters, working on Flipnotes, and then sharing them and refreshing the comments to see what people think.
Yeah. Dude, I know exactly how that feels, because when I was in school, I had zero I mean, I had like one friend, but we were both like...
You both had
we
girlfriends?
were both like the losers.
Yeah.
So all I remember is like just wanting to finish school so I could just run home and then like animate stick figures with my online bros, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
With my bros.
The real homies, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know how that feels.
Yeah, I mean, God, I don't know how to describe it. I wish I could go back and experience it again, but you can't really go to Flipnote Hatena anymore. There is, as I've said, Pseudomemo, the spiritual successor, but it's just not the same, and it's never gonna be, and that's okay. But like it's like that lost piece of my childhood. It's like Fluid Animals in a way, from my understanding.
I mean, Nintendo was huge back then, right? And so having Nintendo kind of advertise this community and the program must have been like super popular back then, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I imagine so. I don't know the numbers, and I know it wasn't like globe-shatteringly huge, because it's still very rare for me to ask someone in real life if they've heard of Flipnote, and they say yes. It's usually like I have to give them the whole history lesson. Like I'll bet most animators or most viewers watching this don't even know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you had a DSi and you had access to the internet, it was a free program. So, like, there was no reason to not try it.
So like, how come Nintendo shut down Flipnote? Because I don't know like the whole story behind shut down. And I mean, it sounds similar to kind of what happened to Fluid Animals. I mean, I guess emotionally, but yeah, kind of take us through what happened with Nintendo and Flipnote.
Yeah, so it was really sad. I remember being really depressed about it because what had allegedly happened was on SwapNote, a completely unrelated drawing software for the Nintendo 3DS. There was some incidents of information being exchanged with an adult and a minor, which obviously that's bad, but it didn't have anything to do with Flipnote. But shortly after that, Nintendo had announced that they were creating Flipnote Studio 3D, but they were also shutting down the Flipnote Hatena services. And I don't think it actually had anything to do with the SwapNote thing. I think that was just a coincidence. Because, of course, they saw the success of Flipnote Studio and Flipnote Hatena, and they wanted to modernize it for their new upcoming handheld console. So the staff from Flipnote Hatena was slowly being tapered out and moved into this new future project. So they didn't want to have to spend more time and money into Flipnote Hatena.
Right.
But what was sad about it was that most of this community didn't have access to a 3DS because it was still a very expensive console at the time. And all of these people, including myself, a lot of the communication that we had with our friends was only through Flipnote Hatena. So a lot of people just got ripped away from each other. And I still haven't talked to... I think I've only talked to 2 people from my Flipnote Hatena days.
Wow.
The rest of them have been lost to time. I've unfortunately forgotten about most of them. And even the ones that I remember, I have no idea how to get in contact with them. So it's very, very sad because just being ripped away from those that you connect with. Because I think those drawings, because you can make flip notes featuring each other's characters, and then draw yourself in the comments and make it much more personal. And then not having that anymore kind of hurt. And there's so many stingers, but the first stinger was you had to pay to even access the new Flipnote Hatena. I believe it was Flipnote Gallery World is what they called it for the 3DS. But you had to pay for it. And the only way that you didn't have to pay for it was if you had a very large following on the platform. But you had to pay like a monthly subscription. So that already caused a lot of people to be weary of it, not be able to access it as easily, especially those outside of any heavily marketed areas like Japan, Europe, and North America.
Yeah.
I believe any other area at that time was very difficult for Nintendo to provide those services for, so it was very limiting as well. And, God, sorry, pardon me.
Are you good?
After that, what was even worse is that they had shut down Flipnote Hatena, didn't even launch Flipnote Gallery World for the 3DS until, like, I believe a year or two after they released it, but only to Japan. So only Japan got access to this new community.
I do recall hearing about that, yeah.
Yeah, and like I as well as so many others are probably still very mad at Nintendo for this today, because we were promised that we would get Flipnote Studio 3D and Flipnote Gallery World at the same time at a specific date, which I believe there was supposed to only be 3 months of, 3 months between the shutdown and resurrection of the community, but several years passed, and the only way to get Flipnote Studio 3D was by Club Nintendo, which has since been shut down, and you had to have a good amount of points in order to even download it.
Jeez.
So they made obtaining
That's
the
awful.
software anywhere outside of Japan impossible.
The gate kept
So
it like crazy.
You have to homebrew it now. That's the only way. And there is, I believe, a
yeah.
pseudo-memo-esque version of Flipnote Studio 3D's online thing, but they've made it practically impossible to access. Yeah, it was very, very scummy. I still resent Nintendo for that a little bit, but yeah.
So, if Flipnote is shut down, how are people kind of like still animating on it? Is it kind of like you have to download it from somewhere else, or like how does that work?
Yeah, well, I believe most people can homebrew it now because you can't even access the store to download it properly. So you'd have to, like, I don't even know how you homebrew something. When I got a new DSi, I was just praying that they had Flipnote installed, and thankfully they did. They also had a lot of questionable things installed on there as well, but I'm not going to get into that. But nowadays, it's mostly, the community is mostly alive through pseudo-memo. Which, as I've said before, was created by Pseudofox, Austin Burke. Great guy. I've gotten to talk to him before. As have you, Hyun. He's
Yeah.
We've hosted the Flipnote. What's the FCC?
Was it
FFC?
Yeah, the Flipnote fight competition. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. I forget what it stands for, but we work with them on that project every now and then. And you know, I've noticed when it's kind of been seeing a resurgence from certain creators, like you have Rad XD, Champa.
Who's that? Yeah, there's that one dude all over social media. What's his name? He makes like those wonky.
Yeah, that's Rad
figures
XD.
and
Is
that him?
Let's go gambling.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, this dude just came out of nowhere, and he's like one of the biggest creators now, and it's from Flipnote, which is like a program that was canceled by Nintendo like 15 years ago or something.
It's like so niche. It's like multiple layers deep. Niche.
Yeah, it's so deep.
But it's so fun to see people using Flipnote as a valid medium now again. It's been really nice.
That's so cool. Yeah, like the history behind it and like this, the lore that comes with Flipnote is kind of insane.
Yeah, I made a song about it.
Oh, no way!
I know we're gonna get into music later.
We'll get into music. Yeah,
I can tease it here a bit. I made a song about the shutdown of Flipnote Hatena on its 10-year anniversary.
Oh man!
I can play it a little bit.
Oh my God, let's start.
And be entertained, but just one wrong move and we.
You know, let me go to my favorite part. I think everyone's favorite part.
Of stars keep falling.
Wait.
Yeah,
The fragments of stars keep falling apart. Finding the pieces may prove to be hard. The fragments of stars left shards in my heart. You won't find my own because they tore it apart. You might call it a ghost town.
It's so good.
Oh, it's not now. It's lost and alone in all these memories.
But anyway, So I made a song about the shutdown of the platform, and it really resonated with a lot of people. Like it was so cool because it felt like the feelings I had expressed in this song were so singular to me. But like I felt like I had to do something for the 10-year anniversary of the shutdown. And then in the comments, like so many people felt the same. Some from the dojo even. But what really hit hard with me was there's some comments that say like, I've never even heard of Flipnote or never got to experience it, but like they could feel the emotion and they could somewhat relate to it. And that's crazy to me.
That is cool. Yeah, taking something that's super niche and then allowing people to kind of like step into it in a way that they can relate to, even if they had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you always kind of joke that like you feel like you missed out on fluid animals, but I feel like I missed out now on the Flipnote stuff.
Yeah, man.
Well, I don't know, because I'm the odd one out in my origins in this community. Most people got to experience this cool RHG thing that I never really got to experience in its fullest capacity. So I don't know.
Yeah, but like the Flipnote, the whole thing about being part of the Flipnote community is really interesting too, because like I could just feel the same feelings that I felt, you know, when with what happened with Fluid Anims and Stick Page and the Dojo and stuff, like kind of on a parallel to what happened with you guys. So that's really interesting. Yeah, that's crazy. That's a crazy story.
Yeah.
So let's kind of shift gears into like, I guess, stick figure animation in general, because I like you're animating on Flipnote, but like when did you kind of get your interest in like stick figure stuff?
Yeah, so there was a period of time for most of my early years that I thought people who animated stick figures were lazy.
True.
Didn't deserve the respect that they had. I was like, oh, come on, look at the art that I'm making. How is this better? But like there were still some that were really impressive. The most impressive that I remember at the time were from Boss, who still makes Flipnote stick figure animations to this day, and they're incredible.
I love Boss, dude. I love him. He's so good.
Oh my god, I don't know how he does it, because no one knows how limiting Flipnote is until you use Flipnote. So if you're already impressed at what he can do, it's even crazier than you can imagine.
Yo, we should show them some Boss stuff if we have it.
Oh my god, yeah. Let me pull up one of his videos lately. Because like whilst Flipnote Studio 3D is incredible, it's still not the best to use. Boss, Kevin.
What's his
stick fight?
Social. I know we feature his stuff all the time. Hold on, let me look up Boss.
Man.
Oh, I found it.
Oh, you found okay.
I don't know if this is one of his latest or something, but he made stuff
yep. That's him.
He makes stuff that just looks like a video game, which is really interesting.
Yeah. Oh my god. You have no idea how impressive any of these shots are. Because you're only limited, even on Flipnote Studio 3D, you're only limited to 3 layers, 3 colors.
Dang.
It's like there's no, like, you know how you have a camera and flash, like you don't have any access to that. You have to manipulate the canvas.
He's moving everything. The camera effects is him literally just moving everything.
Mm-hmm. Like it's
that's
even
crazy.
The text. There's no actual text option in Flipnote.
So he's making the text using boxes and stuff.
Yes, there's only one text option in Flipnote Studio 3D, but there's only one font, and he's not using any of that here. So he's either made all these custom, or he's gotten like a custom pack. Because I could nerd into this for so long, but we don't have time for that. Trust me, I could absolutely nerd into it.
So good, dude.
So good. Like objectively good regardless of the program, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like that's just one example. Yeah. Like if no one appreciates Flipnotes as much as I do, I swear. They're so different. Like when they look that good, you have no idea how complicated that is to achieve. Like even the best animators in the industry couldn't just go into Flipnote and do that.
Into it, yeah, no way.
Yeah, because it's a lot like like Pivot, you know, like a bunch of limiting limited tools, limited options, but like people find the best way to utilize every single thing from that program,
Yeah,
and that's just like so impressive.
They really scraped the barrel completely clean.
So now that we've seen that Flipnote, let me show you my first Flipnote. Flipnote stick fight.
Yes, sir.
I think this will pretty clearly tell you what inspired me to start doing stick figure animations.
Yes, sir. Spill those beans.
I think it's pretty clear where the inspiration was. I took Shuriken's Imitator collab and just...
Imitator, I see.
But yeah, it was supposed to be like a chain where I built rules of like how people... So like even in my first Flipnote, I was trying to organize a collab.
Wow.
It was all
That's
part
so
of the
cool,
plan,
though.
dude.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the first time I tried to animate a stick fight in Flipnote. Because I went from... Okay, so I got nostalgic about... okay, let me mute this so I can just play this. But I got nostalgic over all the Flipnotes that I had seen from Flipnote Hatena. And I was like, okay, what if I just look up stick fight on YouTube? Surely I'll just see the stick, like the Flipnote animations, right? And then that's when I first got introduced to Stick Page, Hyun's Dojo.
And you had the Jimmy Neutron brain blast moment when you were...
Yeah, well, I started watching all that. Like, what are all these? Wait, there's more to this? And then, like, I wasn't, like, super impressed. Like, I wasn't very intrigued until I saw The Imitator. Like, that was the tipping point. I even made my own RHGs to start, even though I had no idea what it was.
Oh, neon. Interesting.
Yes, this is, like, another Flipnote stick fight creator. It's Neon. But I used another... I kept taking Shuriken sound lines and just animating over them.
Let's go.
But like Shuriken was the clear inspiration for me to actually start in the community. So I went from thinking that stick fight animators were lazy to like absolutely adoring the craft.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Hyun, check this out.
Yeah.
It's Yo-Yo.
Oh!
Yo, it's Yo. He's yoing.
Yeah, you can start to see all the inspiration coming. Oh, man.
That's so cool to see.
God.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so
that's actually good animation too.
I don't lie to me, man. Don't lie.
No, I'm not even. Oh, dude, this is sick. What the heck?
Yeah, eventually I got pretty good at it. This one is slightly epileptic, but the movement in this one is much more refined. You can see clear inspiration from the Zeta brand style.
I can see you improving over time too, like with
yeah, this is 2016. This is December 23rd, 2016. I remember making an account on the Dojo website in like November of 2015, I think.
Bro, these are good.
A length of time where I didn't have any good access. Hang on, I think I could search my other account. 1 second.
Yeah.
For some even more recent ones.
So how long were you like flipnoting for, I guess, in the community? Like
6 to 7 years, I believe.
Damn.
I stuck to Flipnote for quite a while. So yeah, and then I got a new DSi and decided to make a Flipnote about my return to animation, because my old DSi like shit itself. It just wasn't working anymore.
Yeah.
But like, I still like the movement in this one. I think it's still pretty good. But it's
these
fun.
are good, man. I'm like, I'm not even joking.
They're all right. I'm satisfied with it, but you know, it's not my greatest. But you can see me starting to find my style.
Yeah, you got like good speed, good spacing on the
clarity.
frames.
The clarity's there. You can see what's happening.
Yeah, like, the combos.
Yeah.
You even got like the fading. Like I like the background fade for each hit. Gives it that little punch. That's so cool.
I remember I tried to practice for the brother versus brother collab you hosted. Because I was like, I'm a little rusty. I was not rusty. I just wanted to animate.
Oh man, dude, the people who were not there for the brother versus brother saga. Oh man, that's a whole nother.
I remember that so clearly, dude. It was so funny.
We gotta get into.
Oh, we have to. But yeah, so that was kind of my start on Flipnote, and then I slowly transitioned into Flash 8, I think was the first one I got. and then I eventually got CS6. Let me try and pull up some of those. Videos, oldest. Oh man. But yeah, they were not great. Even these are still. Okay, let me swap this up with the YouTube layout.
That's the thing, though. I mean, like, even if they're not the best, like you can see that there's passion in to making these projects.
And effort, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the VCam. It took me a while to understand VCam, but.
Oh yeah.
The shooting
anyway.
is so aggressive. Every shot is like spine breaking.
Yeah. I mean, all these are synced, by the way. At this point, I was making my own sound lines. Truly being Shuriken 2.0.
That's
Yeah, with you got the scarf and everything.
Oh, to the nose. Oh, man.
The shock text. Shock typing, am I right?
Yeah. Man. So yeah, that's how I got into this community.
Okay. So, and then once you got into the community, then you started to kind of get into doing collabs. So what got you into starting collabs?
Obviously, Imitator. Hello.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, Imitator was a huge inspiration. Like I remember watching that one and being somewhat impressed, and then it took me until around Resh's or Draco's part to realize that things were actually synced to the beat of the music. And then I had to like, I literally went in and restarted it from the beginning, and then I don't know, my ADHD triggered.
Yeah, like this is very pleasing to me.
It's like, oh, it's so satisfying. I went from thinking these were all lazy to being like, I have to dedicate the rest of my life to this.
Yeah. This is garbage. Wait, it's perfect.
Yeah, but there were also other collabs that inspired me. Although Imitator was the biggest, it had the biggest impact, but that was more for just getting into stick figure animation. For collabs, I'd actually give a lot of credit to you, Hyun, for inspiration as far as collabs go.
Let's
I
go.
remember
Which one?
the home run contest collab is by far my favorite from you so far.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like this
One of my favorites as well. Yeah.
so good. So because I don't know, I love the prompts that are so simple and you can just have the animators do whatever they want so long as they follow a basic prompt.
Yeah.
And like this is the epitome of that. And like I saw this and just had so much fun watching everyone's different styles and how they tackled the prompt.
Yeah.
And all those neat little touches that you put on in compiling.
Oh my god, dude, I'll tell you though, compiling this was the worst nightmare I've ever experienced.
I remember you streamed yourself like working on the whole compilation process.
I did.
Like that just motivated me more. I was like, man, I want to do more stuff like this. This looks so cool.
I mean,
do you have any?
sorry.
Do you have any collab nightmares yourself, Hatena?
Oh man.
True.
So, one of my first collabs that I hosted, I think it was it was the first collab that I hosted on Flash. God, okay, let me find it. Hang on. Hatena360 Collision. So this is one of the sync collabs that I don't think a lot of people even know about. But this was my first Flash sync collab. I had one more before this on Flipnote, but that one's pretty lame.
Oh, I've never seen this.
Yeah, I know. So this, J-Shot, I believe X13 is in, not X13, Atsukdime. Remember when he was in it?
Hey, look at the colors.
There was some pretty, the prompt for this one was not very clear or good, so I'm not even going to try to back it up. But I remember I got 99% done with compiling everything. And then the file corrupted and I didn't have any backups. So I had to completely start over from scratch.
Agonizing.
As far as other quote-unquote nightmares go, I don't think I have many. Mostly they involve frustrations that I have with certain participants, but it's not fair to them for me to call them out on a podcast. That's not fair to them because, I never know the full situation. Sometimes I can be biased on my judgment, and of course I just want to get the collab done. Sometimes something happens that prevents them from getting things done. But there was one collab I did that really set myself apart from a lot of other collab hosts, was the 360 collab, which was entirely in VR.
Yeah.
What?
Dude, I remember this one. Dude, I completely forgot about this, but this was pretty mind blowing back then because the
Yeah.
video
Oh,
was like
VR?
pretty.
Yeah, so this is a pre-recorded version, but you could actually put on like a headset or just hold your phone and look around with your phone. But I made this collab with the intent of you looking at it in VR.
Interesting.
Got it.
So it's,
you're
I mean,
in the
this was very difficult to host, but this was also like the turning point in me kind of pushing collabs out and me actually putting care into them. Because before this point, I was just kind of pushing them out because they were doing well, they were successful, and I was letting it get to my head, all the success that was coming with it, and people were learning of my name. It was also part of the community. If I don't know, felt like you either loved me or hated me for a few years. But then I feel like once I did this one and put a lot more care and time into it, it kind of stopped, you know?
I think that's kind of common, especially if you're inspired by a person. Like, I mean, like you were obviously inspired when he was really big during that time for doing collabs. But yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of common because if you're inspired by someone, you kind of want them to do what they do, right?
Yeah.
But there'll always be that kind of backlash of, oh, he's just copying Shuriken. He's like a Shuriken wannabe.
Yeah.
So
My
you kinda get your
nickname was
own feel.
Shuriken 2.0 for a while.
Yeah. I mean, it was true because there's a lot of people that wanted to just host collabs, but they didn't know what the hell they're doing, and then the collabs would just fail, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you kind of set yourself apart because you were actually finishing a lot of the collabs you started, and they were getting up like better and better and better each time, like to the point where you kind of made your own name for yourself. So that's really cool to see.
Yeah, it was very satisfying when I finally started releasing collabs and people weren't just calling me a Shuriken ripoff. 'Cause it took a while for that to happen. But I really think the 360 collab was the turning point. And I did put a lot of time into this. I don't even know if you guys know this, but I recorded myself one day of every week of the production of the 360 collab.
Oh, wow.
Talking about the
Animation
production and
vlog.
getting
The
behind the
basement.
scenes. Yeah, the basement days, man. There was one of these, so many in my car. But I wanted to make it a point that like I wanted to share behind the scenes and show how much I was crafting, how much love I was putting into this collab.
I like that.
Yeah.
And you can still find this. It's in the description link of the original 360 collab. But it's like an hour long, so if you want to sit through all that, that's on your own volition. But you can see
That's
even
really
by the
cool,
end of
though.
it, when I was about done with the collab, I expressed some of my concerns with like, man, I hope people really care about this one because I've put in so much more effort into this one than every other collab I've ever worked on. And now I come into it with like any collab I do from here on, I have the same mentality.
I think that really shows too, because like,
Yeah.
I mean, just you doing the vlogs and stuff that like no one else was doing that, I think, besides you,
no.
and that was really
I
cool
like
to see.
that. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
and I think that's important for collabs too, because everyone kind of puts a little bit of their soul, like because it's a lot of free time that they're putting into making it like a whole animation part. And just seeing the whole process going through the pipeline and you just kind of like showing that with full transparency I think is really cool. I think that's what makes people super interested in it.
That makes me happy.
So out of
Very
all the
nice.
collabs that you've either been a part of or witnessed, which one's your favorite? Do you have a favorite or a couple favorites?
Yeah, so I got the honor of... Okay, so this was a really cool turning point for me. The original Imitator was the sole video that inspired me to get into this community. And I barely got into Imitator 2. But not only was I able to participate in Imitator 2, because I had to ask Shuriken, and even he was like, I don't know, show me what you've done recently. And he took a chance with it. And I'm super happy he did, because like I think my entry in here is one of my best stick fight animations to this day. I went for it. I went for it.
Yeah.
But not only was I in this collab, but I got to host it for a small period. So that was super, super surreal for me. There was the whole ending fight. I'll let my part play through, and then I'll cut to that ending fight of everybody, but that was very difficult to compile and communicate with a bunch of people. But I remember pretty vividly, Shuriken at this point was in his stage of learning that he didn't want to animate and he wanted to go into coding. So he still misunderstood the intentions of people wanting to animate. And he started treating the animators in here like they were employees. So he's asking for a lot of revisions and stuff. And he did a whole video on his own about the behind the scenes of this collab. But when it was so weird because when he allowed me to host it for a bit, everyone went from not responding to Shuriken at all about continuing to participate to when he announced that I was hosting it for a bit while he was away, suddenly everyone was responding.
Really?
So I think, I don't know, that just says a lot about you need to have the right intentions, the right motivation and mindset to come into this. You need to understand why animators participate in these collaborations. I think that was a huge learning experience. But as for the collabs that I hosted myself, there's two that stand on top amongst the rest. One of them was the most recent one that's come out, was Big Ol' Sync Joint. I put a lot of time into this one. Big ol' sync joint. I worked on this for 3 to 4 years. I only made it
3
public.
to 4 years.
Yeah, I only made it like a public collaboration. It was like an application-based collab where you had to send in an application for me to accept you and then make your sound line and give you a part. But for a long time, I wasn't very motivated to work on this one. But I did want to finish it eventually. So then I figured after the last 15 mat that I did, if I announced it there and then people started applying, that would give me the motivation to finish it, as if people knew that they should expect it.
True.
And I think it's such a fun collaboration. It has all kinds of scene changes. Oh wait, hang on. This transition from the sky portion to the truck, which are both references to Michael, as you can see the truck come in. Love that transition.
That's cool.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
Dude,
I was gonna say not so pro. I was gonna say it looks like not so pro and stuff, and then I didn't even say it.
It was. Yeah, so that's my favorite synced collab I've done. But I think my all-time favorite collab I've hosted is Stuntman 3. I mean, even just the intro says it all.
I love Stuntman.
There's lore in this collab. If you look for it, there's an actual story. And I just had so much fun. This whole intro too, man. Oh yeah,
this intro is so good.
That's cool.
Oh, you had a lot of help with this intro. Right?
I did. So Undermine was the I directed it, but he directed a lot of the 3D parts of this intro.
That's really cool.
But me and him, we were communicating with a bunch of people to have them like submit animated portions that would be placed into the 3D environment. So people would just send it a PNG and we would work with it. But if you go frame by frame in this intro, you'll see references that come up later in the video for everyone's parts. In the very really last song, there's
like the back of a set.
Yeah, even the very ending of the collab. If I skip forward here, it does tell a story, because there's like the studio that you just saw in the intro is all like destroyed and demolished.
Okay.
So I don't know, a whole lot of care went into this one, and I've watched it so many times myself. It's so fun to see everyone's styles clash. That's my favorite thing about collabs, is seeing the comparison.
I think that's one of the most important things of making like a high quality collab that's kind of unforgettable, is like having kind of a story that you can follow. Because there's a lot of collabs that it's just fighting and then it just cuts to credits, and it's kind of like what just happened. So I really love the attention of adding little Easter eggs or telling a very basic story and having an ending and all that. It really makes a huge difference when it comes to collabs and the watching experience.
For sure. And even if you're not paying attention to the story, you can tell something's different by how much care was put into it. But I should also mention that if you are hosting a collab and it doesn't need to be story focused, then don't make don't make it necessary to understand the story, because you can watch the entirety of Stuntman 3 without understanding the story at all. It's still one single whole enjoyable experience. But if you want that extra layer to it, there is a story that you can look for that actually does. The story actually does go back through all 3 Stuntman collabs. And if I ever do a 4th, I will continue the story, but it's never important to watch.
Right.
I think a good example of that is the collab that I hosted recently was the Paint Dry collab. Watch Paint Dry collab.
Yeah.
Literally nothing happens in that entire animation for 12 hours. People are just standing there. And I just made sure, like, what the most important thing about the collab is the beginning and the end. So I just made sure the end was really good, and
Really
people
good,
love that collab. Because that was kind of like a social experiment to see like what makes a good collab, and like to see how long people will be interested in watching something, and that was pretty funny to watch.
I will say my one critique of that collab was, I mean, you couldn't really avoid it, but it was boring for the vast majority of the collab. But that was 100%. The point. That was the point. That was the point. I think, though, it's a shame for a lot of the participants, because a lot of that work is going unnoticed, unfortunately. But if you ever wanted to revisit it, I would recommend maybe recompiling it and trimming out all of the dead air to just purely be new events and showing everyone's work. Because even I haven't gone back. Like, I watched the first like 5 hours live when it was premiering, and then I had to go do things, and then I just never revisited it. I saw Endo's part at the end, but like I have never seen any of the animations from anyone later in the collab. So I think that collab was like it was kind of like you had to kind of be there when it was premiering, because that was when it was like most exciting, because people were just sitting there leaving it on in the background, and then like they would hear something, be like, guys, something's happening, and then everyone would just tune in all of a sudden to see that one part happen. Watching it live was so much fun. I remember being a huge.
It was so fun for some reason.
Oh my god, it was so much fun. But yeah, I wish there was just an easier way to go back and look at all the animations. So maybe one day. Yeah. Just a recommendation.
Yeah, I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes from the guest.
Write that down, guys. I think we have a symbol for that. Write that down.
So yeah, let's kind of switch topics to Alan Becker, because this is kind of out of the blue that kind of happened in your life, right? When the whole Alan Becker thing, because you're doing collabs and stuff, and you're the collab guy, Hatena360, and then this whole Alan Becker thing came out of nowhere. So you kind of want to explain how that happened and how you're the producer of for Alan Becker, right?
Yes, I'm now the line producer. He initially hired me as the project manager. But I'm gonna pull something up. It's not gonna seem related, but trust me, it's related.
All right.
Hey, good start. Good start.
Ooh, yeah. Professional arm wrestler Oxog here. I've lied to you. I'm not Swedish. I challenge all of my subscribers to an arm wrestling competition. I'm also Hatena360. This is my official face reveal. I hope what you find isn't disappointing. I understand your disappointment, but you have to understand that I'm just being honest.
Dumb.
Ooh, ow, cramp. Press like and subscribe to
Why is he breathing so hard?
Thanks.
Because he's so strong, dude.
Oh man, and then this is the creator of Sticknotes. We just cut forward.
Hatena360. I am deleting Sticknote.
And then you have one on Hyun's channel that's now unlisted.
Yeah, that was me.
You got Undermine Block. Yes. There's one on my channel. There's one on Taro's channel.
Oh my god.
I mean, I can keep going. There's Jay-Z Boy. My girlfriend's channel.
This bit was insane. This
Oh, yeah.
entire bit was there's so much work put into this. It's so
crazy.
weird.
Yeah. Oh, this one.
Everybody.
So the reason I bring this up is because this is how Alan thought that he should reach out to me. When he saw these, he's like, man, this is the guy for the job.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong, dude.
He wasn't, but like what he saw in this project, I reached out to like, there are 50 of these videos. There are 50 face reveals for I face revealed for so many other people. And it's so funny, but what he saw out of it was, wow, this guy's really good at reaching out to other people and working with them and getting stuff done.
True.
Yeah,
And
it's true.
he was very true, but when I started on this project, that was the last thing I expected would come out of this. But yeah, this was a whole April Fool's project in, what was it? Yeah,
Let
2022.
Let this be a lesson to everyone to always chase that itch that you have, that passion, that something, that thing that is that you want to do for no reason at all, because there is a reason why you're doing it. You just don't know what it is. And there's no way for you to foresee the kind of like lines you are drawing to future parts of yourself. Because there's no way you'd be able to say, current Hatena then could have been like, yep, this is going to get me a job that I'm going to love, and it's going to be great. There's no way you could ever even draw that line in parallel, you know?
No way.
Anyways.
And I remember Alan reaching out to me too for the same job, and I knew instantly that wasn't not the job for me, because I'm like the exact opposite. I don't reach out to enough people myself.
Yeah.
So I did like kind of reference you as well, because I knew the same way that he knew was that you're really good at compiling collabs and stuff. So you're probably a very organized person. And I think all the roads kind of led down for Alan Becker to kind of reach out to you, like in multiple avenues, which is really cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it, because that was such a huge turning point. Because I used to be the lead mason of a chimney sweeping company around the time that I was even doing this. And I was miserable. I hated that fucking job so much.
So you want to go back?
Oh, never. I have nightmares about that job, man. I almost died several times. I fell 30 feet face first. Like, that's just one instance.
Oh my god, bro.
Yeah, it was not great. But
did you die?
Great question. What a good question. Yeah, no, but like, no disrespect to anyone who worked there. They're all great people, but it was also like the wrong environment for me, because it was like a bunch of rednecks, essentially. People who all cared about like sports and football and guns and stuff.
Like,
and that's like,
you're like stick figures and
Yeah.
and no, and they're like, what? What are you talking about, man?
But like that day that I got the message from Alan, I like stepped out of my work truck to go pick something up, and I saw a friend request from Alan, and I was like, what? That has to be fake, right? It's all lowercase. It looks very unprofessional.
Yeah, there's no way.
But like, apparently that's just how he likes to type. He hates capital letters like you, Stone.
Dude, what is wrong with these
It's a
people?
disease, but it's cool. I promise.
But like, even every message that he sends to me to this day, like, he never uses a capital letter, and it's really
I can't
funny.
do it, man. I can't do it, man.
But I accepted the friend request because I saw that we had mutual servers that lined up. All of our mutual friends lined up. I was like, okay, this is legit. What the hell? What could he want from me? So I accept it. I don't respond, and I wait a bit until he sends me a long-ass message explaining what he wanted from me and like the job offer. And this was like, I believe I'm the first full-time employee for him, which was insane.
That is awesome.
At that point.
That is awesome.
But I got that message instantly. I was like, yes. But then I had to quit my job, but it wasn't a guaranteed position. So I took a huge risk for this, because neither me or Alan knew that this job would even be a right fit for me, or if he even needed one. So I told my family, like, hey, I put in my 2 weeks notice. I'm going in part-time for a bit. I don't even know if this is going to work. And my mom was very anxious about it.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry, Mom. It's stick figures.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere. It's super stable. Cavemen have been doing stick figures.
Exactly, because it was stick figures and YouTube. and she didn't understand it at all because she's all about making sure that all of her kids are good financially and they make good financial decisions. And then here I go quitting a stable job that pays me pretty well into a YouTube environment that I don't even know if it's gonna last a long time. But now since then she is extremely supportive of it. There was a small period I had to lie to her and tell her that I was full-time, but I was not full-time.
Hey, listen, lie to your parents. Write that down.
I don't do that. Lie to your parents.
It's kind of mind-boggling to think about how fortunate you are and how rare of a situation this is, because Alan's channel is like one of the biggest channels, like if you can count top 10 channals on YouTube in general.
She's correct in making her observation. Yeah. Did you get this job from the 0.00001% of YouTubers? Yeah, actually. Oh, okay. Why didn't you say that?
No,
it's crazy. It's literally
he is
0.001% top YouTubers.
Animation channels on the platform. And he was wanting to hire me full time to manage stick figure videos. Like, it all felt too perfect, you know. So I had to take it. I had to take that risk.
That is unbelievable.
Hey,
read the title.
Read the title. Clickbait.
Read the title.
Unbelievable. We did it, boys.
Unbelievable.
This is my first project I was hired onto, was episode 30 of this huge arc that he had been building
this
up
one was
to.
so cool.
And he if there was a pool that started at 1 feet deep and 100 feet deep, he threw me in at the deep end of the pool.
Let's go.
Because this one was so difficult to just come in and learn everything, because I was having to learn about his pipeline. Thankfully, I already knew 99% of the people who worked on the team, which, thank God.
Yeah,
that would have helped a lot, right?
Oh yeah, I remember in my first few meetings with Alan, I was like, oh yeah, I already recognize like all of these people. And he was like, holy shit.
Every single one, leaning into him.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Oh man, it was so surreal.
So like, so you're still currently working for Alan Becker, and what's kind of like the favorite part of your job, essentially, of what you're doing, like your tasks?
Oh man, I'd say all of it, but there's obviously parts of it that I don't enjoy. I am in charge of, if there's people who we don't need on the team anymore, I am the person who has to execute that conversation.
Oh,
yes, I have to execute them.
Oh, okay.
No. No, but like that's obviously something that I do not like doing, but it's something that has to get done.
Murder.
But my job
like
is
Old Yeller.
My job is a lot of asset file prep, a lot of communication. Communication is like 90% of my job. I'm essentially Alan's boss in a way, so that took a while to get used to. I tell him what to do every week.
Tell him what to do.
I get that. I actually super get that. Because like a lot of times, if you're in a creative space, you really do need someone that like keeps you on track, because you can get lost into just doing what you're doing, and then you end up not doing any of the important stuff. And so it's really, really important to have someone that has like the broader picture of everything that needs to get done there, and to kind of like keep redirecting your eyes to the thing that needs to happen. Oh, okay. Because you get just lost.
Exactly.
You get lost, and 3 weeks goes by, and you didn't really do anything of value.
Yeah, that happened recently. I can't say what it was, of course, because of NDA. But I did a thing with Alan for the channel that took like 15 minutes out of my day, but then he just kept working on it for like 3 days straight when he could have had someone else working on it. And I kind of let that slide for a bit, so I was like, okay, he's clearly having fun with it. I'll let him do it. He's finding fulfillment from this. It's totally fine. But then like he kept working on it. I was like, okay, you've spent too much time on this. There's other things that you need to get done in order for other people to still have work to do. So it is, yeah. It's helpful. Like, people can get lost in stuff if they're truly passionate about it. And that's one thing I could say about Alan. He cares a lot about his work and his fan base.
Yeah.
God, I'm super happy that I have him as a boss, because he puts so much care into his work.
And
you gotta keep all those lowercase people on in check, man.
Yeah, Stone.
I can relate too, because I have to do like 10 different things at once because I'm working on the website currently, and I'm always joining other people's collabs, and sometimes I just forget about doing moderator stuff. So I have like Sereth reminding me to do things all the time. So yeah, I can kind of understand how you have to tell Alan to do stuff because he probably has like 200 things to do all at once.
Oh yeah.
That he needs to keep track of. So that's really cool to hear. Do you have like I mean, you mentioned your favorite project was this one? Was it this one, or was
this is the one? This was my first one.
That's your first project. Okay, what's your favorite project that you've worked on?
Oh, my least favorite? That's what you said? Oh, let me show you. I hate this
least
video.
favorite.
I hate this one so much. The season 3 in real time was a pain in the ass.
Really?
I did the initial rough edit because this is like the entire season 3 of the Minecraft shorts, but you see everyone's perspective going on at the time they're supposed to.
Oh my god!
Which also
I didn't even know
means
this
creating
existed.
new animation for anything that wasn't visible. Every single part of this video I hated so much. And Alan knows that I hate this video. But like I pray that we never do anything like this. But like I know that if we do another series where they split up and we can make this kind of video again, then we're gonna have to. But just know I'm not gonna like it. I'm not gonna enjoy it.
I'm not liking this.
But as
Was
for
this Alan's idea?
Well, so Alan saw a bunch of his fans making videos very similar to this, but obviously they couldn't make custom animation. But they were all making their own real-time versions of everything, because there's this whole sequence where all these stick figures are separated, and then they come back to defeat the king in the very end. So it is really fun to see how they all connect in real time. It is fun, I'll give it that. It's just a headache of a project. But my favorite is probably Lucky Block. No, not Lucky Block Staff. Lucky Block Staff is a close second, but No Block Concert is it's so much fun because we tried to pull off a concert, but it was very Tom and Jerry. Because we got this
I know the episode you're talking about.
Yeah. We got this silverfish who comes in, tries to hog the spotlight a bit, and Green's unapproving, and it just ensues into pure unadulterated chaos. And my favorite part, there's even a synced fight towards the end.
There you go. It all makes its way back.
It all makes its full circle.
All roads start at Imitator collab.
Yeah, I mean, I got to even do some sound work for that sync portion, so it really felt perfect. I don't know, everything that could have gone right went right. I love the energy of this video and everything about it. And I have huge props to Skim, who wrote the episode and did most of the storyboards, along with Stealth or the Sassy Owl. They pulled this, they carried this so hard. It's so well written, so well paced.
They're perfect for this job too, I can imagine.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my favorite.
So cool.
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, I hope for greater projects down the line of you working for Alan, because I mean, obviously the quality of his work increased like exponentially once I think you entered the space.
Oh, for sure.
All the other like dojo people are.
Well,
so
organization
really cool.
and deadlines, two most important things.
So with all of that you have going on for Alan, do you still have time for your own creative projects? Like, do you have any large projects in the works that you'd like to talk about?
I probably mentally shouldn't, but I have too many. I have way too many projects. I'm creating my own cartoon show with a bunch of my friends. I have a movie that I'm working on, a full feature-length film.
Okay, a movie that's different than the cartoon show? A movie
yeah,
and
movie
a
that's
cartoon
completely
show?
separate. They're completely separate, even in style.
Oh.
So the show is aimed to be more like Gumball style, to where it's a lot of different styles clashing. And it's more comedic. But then my movie called Gravity is much more serious and down to earth, and has a message to tell. But what I could do, I could even pull up some unseen content from the movie.
I gotta tell you though, every time I see Gravity, I say it like John Mayer in my head, and I can't. There's nothing. Gravity. There's nothing I can do to prevent it from happening.
All right, let me. Screen. It's just a VLC. Let me just pull up to a random spot.
Wait, we didn't put leaks in the title. What the?
Leaks. Oh, I don't think.
Leaks.
So is this Gravity?
This is Gravity. I gotta find the right file. Hang on.
This is Windows desktop.
There's a lot of files.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is just for one fight scene. Oh man. There's some good stuff in here.
Yeah.
So this animatic was done by.
Whoa.
Was done by Cap.
This is Phoenix.
Cap.
Oh yeah.
Dude.
Phoenix.
It's so good.
So yeah, all the fight scenes are going to be synced as well.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so Gravity is a movie about a superhero who doesn't want to be a superhero, but you know, he's the only one who is a superhero, so he kind of has to be in this situation. Because there are supervillains who come out of nowhere and just want to mess with him, you know? But what ends up happening is everyone in the world gets superpowers, so we get to see how he deals with that, the consequences of that. No spoilers beyond that, but it's. Yeah, I ended up having to rewrite this movie entirely with a bunch of other excellent writers that I had on the team. But it will be a long time until this movie is ready, because we're still in mostly storyboarding stages.
What's like the planned length for the movie? Because you say it's a movie.
Yeah, it's currently estimated to be around an hour and a half to 2.5 hours. And I know that is a wide range, but so we have to finish all the storyboards first and a rough animatic of all the fight scenes. And then I can record scratch vocals, which that's just me voicing everything so that we understand the pacing of it. The voice actors understand how they should be delivering those lines. It's a whole process, but until I can get those scratch vocals done, I'm not really going to know how long it's going to be. But from what I can estimate, it's full feature-length film.
Wow. So you have a team. So what's it like working with a team on your own project?
Yeah, it's this project has been the steepest learning curve of all. I probably should have started with a short film, but I didn't. But I'm not going to. So
go for it.
But oh man, it's definitely been a steep learning curve, mostly because I'm trying to understand how to I don't know. It's just such a different project that I'm not used to starting all on my own. I have some experience coming in from working with Alan Becker on how to more properly execute this. So, but like our pipeline looks very different because of how we're animating this, because we're mixing a G-stick style with a basic stick style. And trying to mesh those two together as well. So it's very different from anything Alan has done. Alan does he doesn't do any voices or faces, so he relies a lot on character movements and postures to tell the story and what they're thinking and feeling. But we're gonna have voices and faces in order to do that a little bit. So just that alone already makes our pipeline so much more different. So figuring out a pipeline, I'm trying to figure out an animation Bible to show to the whole team to help make everything as clear as possible. It's also taken me a lot of time to understand what the proper roles to assign people are and what kind of work I can assign them. And it's even more difficult that they're all volunteering, because I don't have the money to fund an entire
So this is not funded.
Not funded. I brought up the idea of a Kickstarter around the time that I pitched it and uploaded it to YouTube. But I backed out of that for a bit because I wasn't very comfortable with it. But I think I'm going to bring it up with my business partner. Hatena360 is a business, surprise. But I'm going to bring it up with my business partner and see if we can maybe think about doing that again. Because at the moment, Gravity is not really making any progress. Also because it's not making any money, so I'm not able to work on it a lot at the moment.
Right.
But
right.
I can 100% guarantee it is getting finished. I don't know when. Could be many years from now, but it will be done.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, despite all the things that you're doing currently, it's kind of crazy how many things you have under your on your plate right now, and it almost seems kind of overwhelming.
Yeah,
to
and
be in your
I have
position.
many more. I have a whole document listing all the projects I'm working on, and I think last time I checked, it was at like over 20 projects.
Damn.
Of my own.
Gee,
not even ours.
what the?
And that's
What's
like,
wrong?
that's Collabs, it's the other channels, my music. I work on a whole bunch of stuff. My ADHD and my autism, surprise, spoiler.
Yeah.
They both
mean, yeah.
make me jump around and then hyperfocus for extremely long periods of time.
Yeah, and you've mentioned before that like you have autism and ADHD and stuff. And I know a lot of people from the dojo also, have that. So how does that kind of affect your daily life and your work per se? Because I know you have all these projects and you kind of say, oh yeah, I have ADHD and stuff, but like do you kind of want to explain how that kind of works, I guess, for the people who don't really know what that is?
So yeah, surprise, I have autism. I don't talk about it too much. I believe I have mentioned it before, but I don't particularly going around advertising it,
Oh yeah, of course.
And I'm particularly scared of people attaching that title to me, which is why I don't talk about it too often. But I think it is important to explain my experience, how it affects me, and how I use it. Because I'm aware there's a lot of people in this community that either could have autism or they have been diagnosed. But I feel like best thing to start is just with how I got diagnosed. It's kind of a serious story. I believe, under my understanding, most people who get diagnosed with autism, they end up talking to a doctor, they run some tests, maybe a questionnaire or something, and then they get they determine it within like a few days. I, however, was put in a mental home. So
oh wow,
very
really?
different experience. Yeah. So this is around elementary school. I wasn't the most well-liked kid.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of friends, and on this particular day, a lot of my friends were shunning me and not talking to me and refusing to associate with me. So I was feeling really, really sad. And then I was also falling behind on my reading skills, which is very common in people with autism, as they have hard in their legibility, their reading comprehensive skills. I still do to this day. I can't read any books because I just don't retain any of that information. But I had to be put in another class. I would be taken out of my main class with all the other students and then put into a corner of the library with like 2 other kids. And that already, like, I was already feeling pretty bad that day, but that was like a cherry on top because it's like, hey,
that does not help.
I know you're feeling bad and shitty, so let's go ahead and take you away from everyone else and make you
wanna
even
be
more
really
of an
isolated?
outcast.
Yeah,
Be isolated.
Let's be physically isolated in front of everyone also.
Yeah, so I was feeling very bad that day, and then that happened. Like, they were like, all right, it's time for your extra reading class because you're falling behind. Everyone else understands reading fine, but you're having trouble with it. And of course, like, everyone would look at anyone leaving the room, so everyone knows what's happening.
Of course.
So it just reinforced in my mind, like, okay, man, this is shitty. No one likes me today. And then as I was walking down the hallway alone, I said something very, very sad that I'm not going to say. But fortunately enough, the school counselor was right behind me when I said that, and I had no idea. And so they pulled me into their office. We talked about it. She called my parents over, and I was pulled out of school for the rest of the day. And so my mother told me that, we were going to go see someone like a psychiatrist to, talk about my feelings and what I was thinking. And I was ultimately still feeling really sad about the whole thing. It's like, oh man, now my parents are getting involved into this. They're probably really irritated and frustrated that I pulled them out of their day. They were fully supportive. Just want to be very clear on that.
Which is great. That's awesome.
Yeah, which is great because they're my parents. They want to make sure that I'm doing okay, and they had kind of suspected it before, but never really knew. So I thought we were going to go to like some smaller building, right, to talk to a psychiatrist, and like, you know, the whole couch thing. You sit down on the couch, tell them about your feelings.
Yeah,
True.
You get in a position like Hyun, but on a couch.
Yeah.
That did not happen. She ended up bringing me to a hospital, like an actual whole hospital.
Wow.
And
Jesus.
I was given my own room. I got put in their clothes, like the gown or whatever you call it, like the blue clothes. I was given my own room, and I was just kind of left there for a while. Some people came in and talked to me, then left. The only thing I remember from that hospital experience was they gave me like a mini movie. It was like a laptop, but it could only play CD movies, you know?
Oh,
you ever
I
had
used to have those.
Yeah, they gave me one of those, and they played this movie about a monkey that was also a spy with another guy. I don't even remember what it's called. That's the only thing I remember from that room. But then by the end of the night, they put me in a wheelchair. I didn't need a wheelchair, but I guess whatever. It's a hospital.
Yeah, it's hospital policy.
Yeah. Then they took me to the basement and then drove me through a tunnel that connected to another hospital building. So like, have you ever seen those like abandoned videos where they like find these long sprawl? I went into one of those.
What?
Dude. Okay, so wait. Let's back up. Let's pause. Let's pause and back up for a little bit. I want to make sure I'm following this right. So on a day that you were feeling isolated, they isolated you to isolate you. Then you felt isolated, so she's like, you know what? We should isolate him. So that as you're isolated 5 layers deep, they're like, let's put him down the furthest hallway we can find to isolate him.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay. I'm making sure I'm.
Yep. No, you're on the right track.
Understand? Okay, I'm following accurately. Got it. Okay, continue.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't worry, it gets worse. I get more isolated.
What?
More isolated?
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Oh, way more. So in this new hospital building, they took me up in an elevator to like the 20th something floor. And I get, you know, they pull me through this very large room with like a hallway and like a big lobby area. It looked like somewhere you would house someone, but all the lights were off for the most part.
What?
Because I got there by around midnight.
Bro, I'm getting
so, like,
scared.
So weird though. Here, let's make you feel comfortable. Turns the lights off. All right. There.
Yeah. Well, no. So, but like the lights were off because we passed some rooms that had windows and doors and names on them. So there were people living in all of these rooms, and obviously the lights should be off if you want someone to sleep. But they had some lights on, like dimmer lights, so that they could, you know, show me around and talk to me and tell me what's going on. Because at this point, I still had no fucking idea what was going on.
Oh my god.
They were just taking me somewhere. I'm like,
And
man, we went to a tunnel.
And you're still a kid throughout this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is
so
2012, so I was 11 at the time. This is around my Flipnote Hatena days.
Oh wow.
And I was sat down at like the circular table. This new person comes up next to me, looks like a proper psychologist, and the only thing I remember him telling me, outside of like giving me the general basis of what's going to happen, was he asked me like if I knew the term thick skin, and at that time, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that had some relevance to my whole sad feelings.
Right.
Man. But he pretty much told me I'm going to be there in that hospital, in that area, for a whole week, and I was not allowed to leave. So for 1 whole week, I was put in a mental home. And I remember asking to just take a bath because I wanted to feel comforted in some way, but even then they rushed me out of the bath, so I wasn't able to really enjoy it. And then I was put in my own room alongside all of those others that I mentioned before, and there was the room was very strange. It gave me my own personal bathroom, but everything was made specifically to prevent you from harming yourself at all. And being put in a room like that really sets the tone that
That's
like
gonna be really creepy.
you don't belong with the
Right.
rest of
Yeah, yeah.
society.
Yeah,
So
that's
just being
wild.
put in that room was
Oh my god.
really, that fucked with me for a long time. And it gets worse than that.
No
You gotta isolate
way.
him further.
Yeah.
You gotta separate his cells.
Because I knew that I was like in a hospital, but like it didn't really set in how much of an outcast I really was until one day they have this quote unquote outside area, but it's like a chunk was taken out of the building. Because like there's still fresh air and such, and they had like a basketball court, that just, I don't know, just general play area stuff.
Yeah.
But there's this huge gap in the wall, like where obviously the concrete wall and windows were supposed to be in order to allow you to have fresh air. But in place of a window were like bars, like jail cell bars. And on top of that,
my God.
there was a large net to prevent you from jumping off.
Oh my god.
Oh my god,
And
dude.
looking off of where we were and looking down onto the city and seeing everyone living their normal lives, but then you're up here behind bars and a net
Nets
on
and
one of
soft
the highest
corners.
floors of a hospital building. That especially,
That is wild.
That fucked with me for a long time.
Were you able to like digest that? Like, did you later, as you got older, kind of understood some of those things, or were you understanding those themes then? Because if I'm thinking about 11-year-old, you may not. Were you in the moment understanding like why the net was there, or did that take like when you got a little older, you understood retroactively, like, oh my god, that's what that was for?
It's a little hard to say because I did try to block it out of my memory for a while.
Right.
Surprise, surprise! It was a traumatic experience, but
Yeah.
I did try to block it out for a while. But I do believe I understood what everything
Then.
was for.
Okay.
Because I was in that
Wow.
mindset at the time, unfortunately, where I was actively trying to do that.
So did that week help?
No.
Do you think it helped or made it
No.
infinite symbol worse? Because it
I-
sounds like
Yeah.
it's the worst thing
No,
you could
that made
possibly ever do
everything-
at the
Yeah.
moment.
Infinitely worse. Yeah, absolutely.
Holy.
So I've, from my understanding, I was there to, to help with my mental issues and to make me not as sad. But then they ended up making it so much worse than it ever could have been.
How
I went
can
from
we
having a
multiply
pretty
this?
bad day at school to a pretty shitty day being next to the principal's office and my parents talking to them, to an even shittier day being in the hospital, and then way shittier with all that other shit. I mean,
It's
it
so
wasn't
crazy.
great. But apparently what they got out of all of this was a diagnosis. The
Okay.
diagnosis was that I have high functioning autism and ADHD.
Yeah.
ADHD wasn't a huge deal, especially nowadays, since it seems like every other person online has it.
Right.
Yeah.
But the autism thing took me a while to really understand what that was, because I tried to just ignore it and deny it for a while. But obviously, like, that's not a condition you can just say you don't have.
Yeah.
Because, like,
No,
I have it. I do have some autistic tendencies and some symptoms. For example, I know a lot of autistic people are very sensitive around specific places. Anywhere around my neck is extremely sensitive, and I begin to freak out. I begin to have panic attacks in large crowds of people, though ironically, I'm very comfortable in front of that crowd of people. I have a lot of trouble reading and comprehending what I'm reading. I mean, it doesn't seem obvious that I'm autistic now, but if you had seen me back then, it would have been clear as day. If you understood what autism was,
Right.
then that would have been so clear. But I've spent a lot of time trying to understand a lot of social cues, which I have improved on. But even that still today is something that I very heavily struggle with. And my lovely girlfriend, love her to death. She's so patient and understanding with me, and I'm the luckiest man on the planet to have her, because I've explained to her what my disorder is, and I've let her know that romance is something that I do not understand pretty much at all. But I do want that relationship. I do want a relationship. I want someone that I can hold close and talk to, and someone be there for me. But a lot of the more romantic cues go completely over my head, and I have no experience with those at all. I don't know how to talk about anything like that. And there's, of course, other things that I don't understand social cues on. I prefer to be all alone. I pretty much don't talk to anyone from any of my schools anymore. and I'm solely online because
Yeah.
it's who I best associate with. But yeah.
Uh,
That was a huge rabbit
See?
hole that we
Again, hey
I
guys,
did
would you not say?
expect that.
Would you guys not say that was an unbelievable
Yeah.
journey?
It was actually unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh my god.
I'm just full disclosure to those watching and listening. I'm okay now. I'm out of that dark hole. I'm as
Yeah.
happy as I could be. I have the job of a lifetime. I'm in this podcast, which I love doing with these two. And I have come to terms with my autism, and I understand what it is. And most importantly, I understand how to use my autism.
Yeah, there is certain abilities that are gained from that, you know?
Yeah, there are. I'm able to. I know ADHD already kind of helps one focus on something, like one specific thing. But the issue with ADHD is that you end up bouncing between a bunch of different projects, which while I still do that, my autism allows me to really hone in and hunker down and focus on that project for days and weeks on end.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like to visualize it like a train. I went through this experiment when I was trying to structure my own animation schedule, and I felt as though when normal work day or a normal work experience, you're constantly being interrupted, right? And if you have ADHD or autism, that interruption doesn't just set you back the time frame at which they interrupted you. It sets you back so much further because you have to hyper focus back into the thing you're doing. It's like a train that slowly gets going and then it's really, really rolling. But if it comes to a screeching halt, it really takes a lot to get it back in. So being able to shift gears from one product to another is really important, but being able to also hyper focus on those switches is a superpower. And it's not something a lot of people can do, but if you're able to do it and kind of keep that train going at that speed, it's incredibly powerful.
Yeah, I mean, extreme focus is something that I've really honed. I think one very key important thing to take away from anyone who is autistic is don't treat them any differently than anyone else. And this could be different for anyone who is autistic. I have talked to someone else about this before. They had me on an interview to talk about it specifically. But some people would like it to be addressed early on. Some people don't. So the best thing that you can do interacting with someone who is autistic is if you are suspicious, don't outright accuse them of that or anything.
Right.
If they do say something that is weird or that you might want to ask about, then feel free to ask about it. And then you offer them a time to explain why they acted a certain way or said something. I think a lot of people with autism tend to use their autism as an excuse of how they react and do certain things.
Right.
I personally believe it should be treated more as a means of explanation.
And understanding. There was the streamer Pirate Software. I don't know if you've seen some of his stuff before, but
I'm familiar.
He used to work at Blizzard, I believe, or he worked in let's just say he worked in a software setting, right? And he said, I loved when I would work with people who I knew were potentially on the spectrum, because he says, do you want me to have, when there would come to an issue that I had to speak with them about something, he would say, because he had this understanding with them, and this is why that was important, he would say, do you want me to have bedside manner or do you want me to be direct? And he's like, I would love working with people on varying levels of the spectrum, because they would always answer, just be direct. And he'd be like, okay, you're shit at this, this, and this. This has to get better, and that is okay. And they'd be go, okay, perfect, thank you. And they immediately make those changes, versus being like, okay, and having to really kind of like dance around a more bedside manner friendly, softer tone, when you do have the ability to like take direct criticisms because you want direct verbiage, because you can give direct outcomes, and that's a superpower, that in by itself. And if you didn't have that understanding with the person, you can't go into that conversation to start. So that I think is in line with that same thing, is like, if you have that understanding with somebody, you can help mutually benefit each other, instead of being like, oh, this is a crutch, or I have to like dance around you carefully because it's like eggshells for some reason, Yeah,
I will say that's a bit tricky, because I don't think that applies to everyone. Maybe in that field and industry that does apply. I totally understand that, because I am the same way. And the reason that we would, in this industry, would much rather people be very direct about their critique and advice is because of the whole social cues issue. It's because if you're trying to beat around the bush, we're not going to be able to detect that.
Exactly.
And we're going to end up leaving that conversation very, very confused and not really knowing your intentions.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, oh God, I was going to say something. Damn.
Oh,
I forgot.
no.
Oh, shoot.
I'm learning so much just from this, this little thing, because it's because from as a community owner, I deal with a lot of people who have to deal with that, and it's kind of like a fine balance between if someone is causing a disruption or breaking the rules and stuff, I need to not only take into consideration are they really breaking the rules because they are doing that on purpose, or is it because of something else? So it's it's a huge thing to learn.
It's very tricky. I would say best course of action is just to send them a message and be like, hey, give them the benefit of the doubt. Even if you don't know for sure, if you have a suspicion, give them the benefit of the doubt and just try to explain it very bluntly, but also be very understanding. They're very irritating sometimes. I understand. I used to be very irritating myself because I did you don't understand the social cues of other people are talking, maybe I shouldn't talk about my OC for 5 hours.
Exactly.
But so long as people know how to communicate with those people and that person understands why that interaction is happening, then it should be fine.
Right.
But everyone's different. It's hard to give one solid piece of advice to anyone about autism because it's a spectrum. It's a
huge spectrum
disorder. So I saw a question in chat earlier of someone asking how I would describe autism. You really can't.
There's no
really heavily, because there are 3 main levels, and of course there's the people with autism who need to be in a wheelchair. They don't have great control over their limbs.
Right.
I have spurts of that whenever I stretch sometimes. It's a little awkward, but that is a weird thing. If I stretch on very rare occasions, I'll just kind of lose control of motor function and just kind of spasm for a bit. But I'll be totally fine, and it just feels like one extended stretch. But
wait a minute.
Very weird.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I do that. I didn't know. Okay, hold on. Not everyone does that. I'm being dead serious right now. Not everyone does. I do that frequently. I thought that was a normal thing. You stretch and it kind of you wobble or wiggle. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, your limbs extend in weird ways and they contract and decontract and.
I'm learning. Oh wow. Okay. Interesting.
But yeah. I don't even. What was I talking about?
Music. When did you get?
Yeah, let's go. We need to pick me up. We need to pick me up here.
Move right along.
/ singing. Parentheses stone. When did you get into music / singing?
Oh wow, I'm glad you asked. Oh man. Yes. All right. Yeah. New topic entirely. I have been into music for a long time, for as long as I can remember. When I was a kid, that was something that I really thought I wanted to be, was a professional musician, professional singer. Over time, that dream has faded, and I more so find myself comfortable in the animation space. So I now treat music more like a hobby. And there was a period where I tried making music for a while. Let's see, what was this link? Oh yeah, this is going to be very embarrassing, but I am very into nerdcore. When I was younger, I used to be extremely into nerdcore, which is just
what is that?
How do you explain nerdcore? Dan Bull? He's a very popular rapper on YouTube who makes raps about video games and pop culture tracks. CG5 also is another YouTube musician who makes a lot of tracks about TV shows, video games, other pop culture stuff. He makes his own original music as well, and I'm personally a big fan of him. But I used to be very into that, so I made a song about Fran Bow, which was a game that I seen Markiplier playing. I really don't want to play it.
I mean, you can play a snippet if you're comfortable with that, just so.
Yeah. Alright,
Here we go. Let's get it over with.
I got the key, gotta take control. I won't let them win. They act as if me going home will become a sin. Going home.
That's it. That's all you get. I don't want to share that one.
When was that? When
Hey,
was
what
that?
the hell? Hey, we'll link it in the description. We'll link it in the description.
No, you won't. You will not.
All right. Link to the SoundCloud. in the
That
description,
was
guys.
from 2016,
Oh,
the same year that I was getting
Wow.
into the dojo. But I was experimenting with music, and over time I kind of figured I wasn't really good at it. I wanted to be really good at it, but no matter what I did, it felt like I couldn't really improve. So I kind of like set that aside and then honed in on animation and collab hosting for a long time. And then around 2020, 2021, I got hit with imposter syndrome pretty bad. For those who don't understand what imposter syndrome is, it's where you feel like everything that you've earned is like you didn't earn it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, a little difficult to explain. I gotta find it. Hatena360, I'm not an imposter. I wrote a song around the same time that Among Us was popular called I'm Not an Imposter. Most of the comments are about Among Us.
Naturally.
But this was kind of like my second try in music. I really wanted to try and give it a serious chance, so I didn't do any nerdcore. I just wanted to write about something personal to me. I was still struggling with understanding imposter syndrome at the time, so I figured maybe writing a song about it would help. So I got with a friend of mine, Sumik, to help compose and bring everything together. And Diango helped me with performance. She's in a call with me and helped me be comfortable with performing all the vocals. So big shout out to those two. And I did a whole animated music video too. Oh god. And this is a major step up.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And that's just because I asked for help. I mean, it's still, I still listen to this and cringe a bit because I've learned so much more since this.
Right.
But like, let me get to like the fight scene. It's a little fun.
Not an imposter, I live in a lost world. I'm sure
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not my finest work, but I'm very proud of it because I went very far out of my comfort zone to get it
Very
done.
good. I like this.
Because I felt like I needed to do it. I needed to work on this. And there's a whole lot of symbolism in this music video, if anyone cares. But I kind of continued making music after that. I made another song, Nostalgia C. I worked with Zetas and Zakio, who does a lot of their own compositions and some in stick figure collaborations as well. You can find some of their work. But they helped with more of an with more of an orchestral rock feel. And I did a whole animated music video for that.
Oh wow.
And then, you know, the Crumbling Stars music video, that was the next one that I had released. And I've released a couple more since then. I made a song, Ruined Sound, which is my thoughts on how music is perceived and how it's evolved and if it's evolved. I even used AI a bit.
Wow.
Because it, you know, that was and still is a very controversial part of the creative industry at this point. So I thought maybe I can use it as a critique point. I don't know. The line that I had used it in was talking about AI, and I remember I used an AI voice of Jay Schlatt, which is really popular. I did my boss Alan Becker. I think there's one of a Minecraft door sound singing it. There's some weird stuff, but I started to get very experimental with that track, and I was really happy with it. Shuriken even learned how to play it on piano and then performed it for me, and that was also surreal.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
so cool.
We saw that in the Shuriken episode. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I released another song. The most recent song that I released is called Something to Look Forward To. It was actually about a one of the only friends of mine that I continue to talk to from Flipnote Hatena. And I don't think he knows it's about him. If he's watching this now, he might know it's about him. But there's some pretty serious stuff discussed in there, such as my big sad days. And it's about, you know, coming out of that dark hole. And yeah, I don't know.
Dang, a lot of these songs seem like it's like a direct kind of vent. And I don't know, like a explanation of your past experiences in life.
100%. I've learned I'm really good at writing songs that are very personal, meaningful, and vulnerable. Yeah, I'd say vulnerable more so.
Yeah.
And I started to make an album. I realize I'm kind of already transitioning into the next question, which is what you're working on
now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm working on an album, a full 12-track album. I don't have a theme for it yet. I still don't know if I want a theme, but I can play the first track that's going to be in the album. Not all of it. I'll play just the ending because I'm super proud of it.
All right, let's listen.
It's my best thing yet. But let me pull it up one sec. It's called "The Introvert," and it's a song about losing friends. Let me turn off the current music that's playing.
Yeah.
So it's not a track all about introvert, what an introvert is. It's more my reasoning and explanation as to why I've lost a bunch of friends.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, version 9, mastered. Okay, wait.
Things I like, and I don't know why.
I'll just play it from here. It's like this is me, yeah.
What the hell?
That's insane.
Way better. In a minute, you'll hear an acoustic guitar that was performed by a member of the community, Yu Ishizaki.
People find we're not always alike, and while we don't know why, that's okay, that's alright. We don't have to be friends all the time. If we wanted to hang out, we could have done all that online. But I don't know why I have to say goodbye. Is it closure? Is it nice? Am I selfish to say it twice? It's probably fine. It happens all the time. Did we really drift apart? Or am I terminally aligned? Just keep in mind, I'd rather stay inside. Oh, I hope you don't mind. I'll be doing things I like, and I don't know why. I'm not that kind of guy. Well, I hope you're doing fine. I might be better off online.
Yeah. That's the ending to that track.
I love that.
It's like I can see the progression, like from when you started. It's like it's insane. I mean, not just music too. It's just like everything. It's so cool to see.
Very
like
cool.
How you're evolving through time. Yeah, that's man.
I think one key element.
It makes me feel good.
One key element to your success across the table seems to be that you like to reach inward to pull something from your own experiences or something that's more personal to you, and that's how you tie it into the things that you're doing. And I think that's what makes your stuff special. I think that's a testament to finding your own style. Is look at Hatena's story. Look at his unbelievable journey, genuinely, because here you see someone who starts off by imitating something that they're interested in or liking, but then you elevate to turning inwards to your own life experience, and then you see it time and time again tying back in to the thing that brought you in, while adding your own very personal touch that can only be brought together from your perspective. So I think that's something really special.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel, like I knew very little about like your history and all that, Hatena. So I really appreciate that this episode and you sharing, not just the community side, but like more of the personal side of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
just great to have you, man. Great to have you with us, just doing this thing.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, you have no
feel very
idea
fortunate.
you have no idea how much it means, like, to even be doing this podcast with the two of you. Because I came in very late
Oh
to the
man,
community, feeling like I was fighting all odds to even get to this point. I remember days where I was on the school bus looking out the window, being like, man, what if I got Dojo partner one day? That'd be like, nah, that's impossible. That would never happen. And then I ended up getting it, and like it just
Look at
keeps
that now, dude.
snowballing. So it's
hey, look
like,
at us now.
Look at
man,
us. Hey, look at us. Huh?
Hey,
Who'd have thought? Look at us.
in my
Huh?
living room, yeah.
on a
Who'd have
coffee
thought?
table.
Look at where we're at right now. Yeah, we're in your house. We're doxing you online right now.
All right. Well, we're gonna pivot. We're gonna take a look at a featured animation, something that I found lately. And
Ooh,
while
yeah,
that's happening,
animation.
go ahead and feel free to leave a question in the chat. Our new producer, Loonsar, will
Let's go!
pick his favorites, and we'll read them in just a minute. But yeah, let me pull up this video. I found this yesterday because this guy joined a Dojo voice chat, and I just pulled up his channel and started looking through his stuff. And unironically, I kind of became a fan because he does these mixed media animations that are really silly, but like he has such a great fundamental understanding of character movement, poses, and silhouettes that like he's able to replicate that in real life using his physical self. But he also fights a stick figure. But it's very
Alright,
silly.
let's see this.
He's very clearly
Who's this guy?
experimenting, finding his
Okay,
style. This
John,
is from
2010,
Stick
let's go.
Animations 2024.
What do you want?
I am
Well,
here
it's
to
really
fight
funny.
you. And
But
when?
like you start to see
Why?
subtle
Because I
clues of
hunt
like
and
really
because
good
you're
understanding of
weak.
the animation.
Nah.
Or I repost your get on the internet.
Jesus.
Nah, don't do it. Alright, this.
All right,
let's
that.
do it.
But, like he's got some good arcs here. That frame skip.
Okay,
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
damn.
I do like looking at the camera though.
Yeah,
was
I
sick.
saw that.
That was funny. That was funny.
Oh, that.
He's got some more. So I have 3 that we're gonna watch. This is his recreation of. I'm gonna regret saying this. A I believe it's a KJ, like from Disassy Hour or Stealth. It's a KJ animation.
What did you
It's-
don't
It's like a reference to that. We will say no more.
careful.
But like he's able to recreate it in real life so well.
Oh, okay.
Look at that shot. Like that's crazy. I love that so much.
Yeah,
So
is that a
funny.
PNG picture of himself?
That was yeah. Oh man, but like
So funny.
Oh
Dude.
my god,
this
that was
composition,
genius.
though, like it's so well put together because okay, like you
I
can
like
see there's
that.
a green screen around him,
Yeah.
but like he holds
Yeah.
on frames, right? And he has such a clear silhouette.
He.
Like,
I
it's
gotta
just
use
so
this guy as reference.
good.
The PNG kick, dude.
Like it's really funny, but at the same time kind of impressive.
It is.
It is
definitely-
impressive. Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. Love that shot so much. And then there's this one.
Okay.
And he's having so much fun, dude. He's having so
Animating
much fun.
himself more than he is the stick figure here. That's crazy.
It's so
He's
good.
made a lot of these. I believe this is all going to be a part of one big video. But like,
I love it.
Yeah, we gotta feature this guy. We gotta feature this guy.
yeah,
on the
whenever
channel.
this
I
video is
love
done, like let us know, man. This is sick.
Yeah. I also need to know what that
Yeah.
plant is back there because I actually really like it. Who's your plant guy? Let me know your plant
Like,
guy.
He has such strong poses in this thing.
I know.
Like, look at that, and he holds on it.
That's
He gives
what's
it
so
time to
good. That's
breathe.
great. Yeah.
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
go.
yeah,
The
yeah.
recoils.
Like, wow, he has such a
Let's
great
go.
understanding
He's
of
animating
it.
his own
Love
his,
it.
his body.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
The stick figure animation could use some improvement. Like, I'm not gonna lie, but like,
But it's great because he's also it's a struggle. It's
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah.
it is. But like, I don't know. It's just really impressive, and this guy is clearly so young. Like, I can't wait to see what this guy does in the future.
Yeah.
Look at
Oh
that.
yeah.
So
He's
cool.
gonna.
Yeah. That's
So,
I like that.
bro, like, I can tell.
That's great.
All right.
I love that. Questiones.
Yes, questiones. I don't have to read this time.
Questions.
Questions.
Oh, yeah. Who's reading the questions?
I'll do it. Okay, so
All right.
Rando Espresso asks, what was your favorite Flipnote you still go back to watch that has been saved on YouTube?
That's a good question.
Anything
It's
slipped in the
probably... Oh man, what is it? It's probably the door videos from Boss. He had like a 2-parter series where he had a bunch of Flipnote references try to beat a door open, and then at the very end it showed that he was just punching a wall and the door was on the other side of the room.
Okay.
But it was such a fun idea. He executed it really well because he's Boss, so of course it's going to be great.
Oh yeah,
that's probably my favorite.
TJB asks, any duelist related project plans?
Dang. No, I don't think I'm gonna do any more Dojo duels, unfortunately. Not that I don't dislike Dojo duels. I just don't like participating in them personally.
Yeah.
They felt too competitive for me, just how I was tackling it, and I don't see a way around it that isn't just not doing duels anymore. That's not to say I'm not going to make any more Shame Story animations for those who are still wanting those. I do intend to do another Shame Story and finish his story. I'll probably revamp it and change it a bit. But it doesn't need to be a Dojo Duel series. It can be its own thing. And I'll still be featuring other people's stick figures. If that's a big appeal, then you don't need to worry about that. I'm just not doing duels anymore. So sorry about that.
Oh, that's completely understandable. It's not everyone's cup of tea. Next question. Wait, I lost it.
I got it. So, Kiddo Cadex asks, question for Hatena. I really like the synced animations, but I'm a beginner and don't totally understand how to make them yet. Do you have any tips?
I would say start with making the audio beforehand, or you could even start with just a song and not do any sound effects. But think of it as percussion. You're not trying to match the music exactly. You're not just trying to do the same repetitive motion over and over again. You're trying to add your own twist to it. So think of it like you're beatboxing over a track or something, and then try to build a guide of your choreography to match those motions. If there's like any movements in choreography that are in quick succession, keep those close, keep those fast. If there's like a pause in the music where you want there to be a heavier hit, leave more have a larger movement. I don't know. It's difficult to answer without having a more specific question.
Right. Yeah.
Most importantly, just try using the audio first and then animating over the audio.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Anon asks, since ADHD and autism is a spectrum, this may not apply to everyone, but how are you able to really focus on your work and discipline yourself, other than getting others to kind of like give you reminders?
Man, I rely so much on my disorders to help with that. I don't know if I can really give any tips, because it is just like I'm able to sit down and forget to go to the bathroom and eat for the whole day and just focus on one thing.
There you go.
Like when I worked on the original Boogie animation, I woke up, started working on it, did not leave my computer until 2 a.m. the next morning.
Yeah, I get that.
And I don't think there's any tip I can give you. I think if anything, you should give yourself breaks. Don't be like me, because you can't. Unless you have ADHD and high functioning autism. Don't be like me. Allow yourself to be you. Give yourself the breaks that you need. But for me, myself, that just gives me a lot of fulfillment in those days where I just have infinite energy and can't pry myself away from my PC. But that should not be the same thing for everyone.
Cool.
Okay.
I'll ask the next question.
Do it.
Solomon asks, Hatena, what are suggestions for organizing a collab? And also, would you enjoy a tribute to the Imitator collab?
Fun fact, I actually did an Imitator tribute. So you can find that on the dojo.
Nice.
As for another tribute, I have no idea. I think where Shuriken left Imitator 2 off is really good. If he, we discussed like an Imitator 3 when we had him on a few episodes ago.
Oh yeah, we did.
So like if he ever does that, that's great. But I don't think I want to touch it, at least without asking him first.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, if you want a tribute, there is a tribute. You can find it. As for organizing a collab, deadlines and proper communication is important.
Yeah.
Now, when I say communication, I don't mean asking for progress daily. That is excessive, and if anything, that turns people away from participating in your collaborations. If you are hosting a collaboration where you give someone a file and a deadline, make sure to give them enough time, but also to allow them an excuse for an extension. You kind of have to tiptoe around the extension part, because you don't want to give them an extension just because they were lazy. In that case, I would say kick them from the collaboration, because then they learned that that's okay. But if it's for like a personal reason, like family or health, then of course you can give them an extension. The formula that I follow for my collaborations is if I assign someone a collab part, I give them 2 to 3 weeks, and about halfway through their deadline, I'll shoot them a message and just be like, hey, what's going on? How's progress? You want to show me? And, sometimes people don't want to show you the progress until it's done. Some animators are just like that, and that's okay. But that at least gives them a reminder if they haven't started. And then I'd say the day before their deadline, shoot them another message and just be like, hey, how's it going? Do you need an extension? And communicate from there. Treat them like people. And, no one's getting paid to do these. So it's all just for fun. So just make sure to treat it like such.
Very true.
But then after the one extension, if they fail that extension, you dox them and publicly humiliate them, okay? Write that
yes,
down.
Exactly. Oh, man.
That's important.
Yeah. I mean, being a collab host is, you need to learn a lot of leadership skills, a lot more than you think you do, especially if you want to do a lot. If you want to just start small, do a joint with a friend or two. And if you end up really liking it, you can slowly expand on that. But you're inevitably going to be learning how to strengthen and greaten your communication abilities.
Yeah. Awesome. What else? What else do we have? It's a good one.
Let me read through some of these.
I'm trying to find a good one.
I can answer this one quick. Another question for Hatena. Will you make the Meme Dream 3? You are one of 2 people who have asked for that, so no, that is never happening.
You gotta pump those numbers up.
Meme Dream 1 is too successful. Meme Dream 2
Get
is
a petition.
Terrible. Number 3 is never happening. I'm sorry.
Get a petition, get 500 people to sign it, we'll consider it.
No, I will not consider it. They might, but I won't. Tell you what, if someone else wants to do Meme Dream 3, go for it. I don't care.
There you go.
I'm not touching that again.
There you go.
It's terrible.
Strong answer.
There's a question for us, Stone. Sebastian asks, are there any updates to the Dojo archive? Those of us who don't have Discord. Also still wondering if Hyun and Stone have plans for a Fluid Anims archive as well. I believe there was a Fluid Anims archive, wasn't there?
Is there? I don't know.
I think there was, and Jeff was hosting it, but I'm not sure what happened to that. Jeff was also going to host the Dojo archives as well, so I just need to get back to him. But he's pretty hard to get a hold of nowadays. But I'll probably make an update on the Discord. I know you don't have Discord, but I'll make an update on either the website later or on the Discord if you're not on it. But
look for it if you care. You'll find it eventually.
Yeah, it'll eventually come out, but it's just a little slow right now. But we do have everything saved, so nothing is lost at the moment.
Okay.
What else?
Well,
I think that's
it.
Pretty much it. Yeah.
Dude, what a crazy awesome episode. This is such a good episode.
Yeah.
I'm very serious. Sorry about that.
It was
No,
deep.
it was perfect. It was perfect. But stay tuned next week. And of course, guys, I know I say this every time, but I really, really mean it. I check multiple days throughout the week. When this video is done and you're watching, please leave a comment. It helps shape the episodes. It keeps us really happy and excited and energized for next week. As well as also love the fan art. I love the things we see on X, Twitter about the episode. It's a lot of fun. It helps really build this episode and make this into something special. So join us next week for episode 19 with Loonsar.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes, sir. We got Loonsar coming.
Can't wait for it. I'll be there. I'll be there next week.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this is
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
we're good.
Thank
Thank y'all for joining.
yeah.
Appreciate it.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Whoa, yo! What is happening?
Are you okay? Is he okay? What? What?
Somebody
Sick
call somebody.
called 911?
I'm not animated. I